what's up, it's mikeyperion here, and welcome back to another episode of tazzcraft SMP. So from the last episode, we have done one of the most tedious job here in Minecraft, which is clearing out this ocean monument, and as well as we have set up this magnificent tree farm, which is built below sea level, and we also have collected all of the woods known to this game so we can have them in our building palette in this server. So on this side right over here, we got some jungle woods and some dark oak on this side and some spruce on those corners right over there. And we also have the smaller trees in the lower level, so at least we can cap their height. So we got some acacias on this side right over here, and also some birch and some oak, which are basic woods that we normally use, right? But anyways, so I also have started digging out here and made this look a little nicer because we first need some stones for today's builds, and we also need to have some strip mining soon, and we also need to locate some slime chunks for our slime farm soon. But anyways, well, the fact that we have done a lot during the last episode, I have the need to organize our stuff because the last time I had this, it was totally chaos. So now we have this color coordinated, but soon enough we are also going to need a proper storage for this stuff, right? But that's for the future anyways. So I also have cartographed, it's not even a term though, but anyways, I made this map right over here of our base because I already did some initial planning of what we are going to do for this city, because for today's episode we have to finish off our builds below here, the waters, and later on we also need to start building above sea levels. But yes, so I know I hardly tried to squeeze in a lot of tasks from the last episode, but I realized we need to slow down a little bit for today's episode because we're not totally in a rush, right? But anyways, so the first thing that we need to do for this episode is to build some pillars in the four corners of this base, although we're still quite limited in terms of stone supplies. But soon enough we are also going to build our stone factory. But before that, we are going to build our creeper farm for this episode, and as well as we also need to first build the platforms for this city. Of course, we also need to have, you know, some paths on the sides, and as well as the roof, which will also serve as the platform for this city, right? And again, but anyways, so let's check our map here. So basically our initial plan is to make like a circular formation, and then later on we are going to expand it with three on the three sides on this direction. So basically it will shape like a fidget spinner, and also we are also going to bridge out, going to this mainland right over here in the desert. So we are going to have a bridge right over there, but that's for the future episode. But for today's episode, we are going to build a roof for this place, and as well as the creeper farm. And without further ado, let's get started. So I built the first pillar in this corner, and it's quite a simple design, and this is actually the first time that I incorporated prismaries in our build. Well, I'm not totally fan of it, but it turns out it blends pretty well with the smooth stones, right? But anyways, I'm going to build 3 more of this in the other corners, and I'll be back. So we have the pillars in the 4 corners. Well, they were just hollows and filled with waters. But anyways, so the next thing that we need to do is to make pathways in all of the sides of this square so we can go around easily, and we can also have a nice transitions when we build this platform from square shape to circular. And I also think that we need to raise 1 block higher, so at least we can have more firm look on these glass windows, and as well as we can also elevate the base of this platform when we are going to build this in the future. Made a quite consistent design for this pad right over here. Well, I'm still not a fan of these prismarine blocks, but this is what we have now. Well, a bunch of them as we know it because of our guardian farm, but we'll stick to this and for the meantime. But I don't know if I'll get used to this, and besides, this is not that you know, I mean, cyberpunkish anyway, but we may change this soon, right? I still don't have any idea. Well, better much if we got some time for it, right? In the future, maybe. And now we're done with the pathways on all of the 4 sides of this base. So the next thing that we need to build are the glass walls or the windows on all of the sides as well. So I think, well, we still need to raise this up at least 4 blocks higher, because I checked the tallest tree in this place. So far, it's still above the height of this wall right over here. So most likely we are going to raise this up a little more, so at least we can already fit all of these trees. And that's kind of weird though. I thought we already have glided, but we still got the fall. But anyways, so let's check our supplies of glasses, and we got some bunch of fishes right over here. But anyways, I think we already ran out of lava, so I guess we have to get some of those. So already I've started building the frames for these glass windows, and I know we have scarcity on stones, but I don't want to use prismarines anymore for the four sides of these walls. And besides, we have to stick to our cyberpunk theme, and thus we have to squeeze our resources in order to achieve it, right? Well, I guess these should turn out pretty amazing later. Well, I don't know yet, so we have to see that, right? So now we're done with the four sides of this base, except for that part over there though. Well, after this, we are going to start building the ceiling, and I'm going to try to come up with a design on one part right over here. Well, just to test out to see if it will look good. But of course, on the top of this, we are going to build the city. And like I mentioned earlier, well, I think I haven't elaborated about the creeper farm yet though, that we are going to build for this episode. Well, I was too excited to start this build anyways. So, well, about the creeper farm, we are going to build that on the top of the stone factory, but for the meantime, we are just going to provide, you know, enough space or gap for the stone factory. Of course, that will be below the creeper farm that we are going to build for this episode. So for now, it's going to be a hollow space for the stone factory. Well, for today's priority, after this, we are going to build the creeper farm. So at least by the time that we have built the stone factory, we are going to have enough TNTs, right? Well, that's for later. So for the next thing that we need to do is, of course, we have to come up with a design for our ceiling right over here. Well, I don't have any idea yet though, because, you know, something like most of the futuristic ideas are kind of plain, but we'll see how it goes. So now we have a sample pattern of this ceiling right over here. Well, it ain't look cyberpunkish or even futuristic though. But it turns out I pretty like it actually. Well, I guess we can stick to this. Well, I also thought that we could have used more dark prismarines, but dark prismarines are really expensive, especially we need to butcher a lot of squids. But also we have to stick out on this pattern, also on that side right over there. But yeah, well, so far I'm pretty happy with this. So we just need to copy this on 4 other corners and as well as on those 4 sides. But anyways, let's do it. And now we're done on these sides of this ceiling, but of course I also have left this part right over here because these patterns doesn't really fit on this area right over here. So we have to rethink, we have to think of another design, but it's not really that visible though. I mean, it could be a waste if we're going to take more time in order to think another design for that. So maybe we could just copy what we have done in the lower levels. You know, something like this spotted sea lanterns. But so far, it really, I mean, underneath here, it really looks good. I mean, I really like how this turned out, although it's not really that futuristic though. But somehow it has a touch of being futuristic, maybe something like, you know, Asian style with futuristic fusion. But anyway, so let's just concentrate on that area right over there. So I guess we just need to continue this dark prismarine you know, blocks over there, and on the sides we have to have the similar design on what we have in the lower level. So well, yeah, so let's stick to that. Well, like I said, it's not going to be that visible, but somehow we can still see it, right? But at least we didn't over-decorate that because somehow the design in the ceiling is pretty too much. Well, somehow, but I still like it though. I still like it, so we have to retain it and be happy. But anyway, so well, let me grab some food because we only got 10 fishes left, and I guess we are going to eat these fishes for the rest of our lives here in the server. But anyways, I also forgot to mention that I also put a toggle switch for this guardian farm because the storage system is getting full. So I'm already tired of, you know, transferring these drops from this guardian. So I actually placed a toggle switch right over here. Will turn off this you know, this farm. It will still spawn guardians, but it will not drop, or it will, I mean, the guardians will be killed and their item drops will be burned by the lava. So at least it will not have, you know, a lag, or it will not consume a lot of memory in this server, especially that if we have, I mean, that area right over there is full of prismarines and, you know, fishes. But anyways, at least we are contributing to this community, right? I hope so. But anyway, so now it's time to move on. So the next thing that we need to do is, of course, to build here on the top of our city. Well, it's raining though. But anyways, but first we have to reserve an area here in the center. So I think we have to build the creeper farm beyond this point right over here. I'm not sure though, because we're almost on the end of that platform, but I guess we can extend, right? Because in the center, of course, we have to build our centerpiece and we have to reserve that in the future. So probably maybe I could mark like a circular shape in this area right over here. So I'm thinking that we can have like a roundabout with a certain monument in the middle, something like that. But that is going to be the future episode. But yes, well, so for the meantime, I'm going to mark this and I'll be back. Well, I didn't expect that this roundabout is going to be as big as this one, that we have to move our creeper farm in the corner right over here. Well, considering that, I mean, for our roundabout, you also need to consider the roads on the side and as well as the sidewalks, and of course we have to make enough space for our centerpiece right over here, and as well as we also need to consider some intersections or roads going to this direction right over here, and as well as going here, and as well as the main road going to the main island, which is probably going to be a wide road. So well, we have to consider those in our planning, and especially before we start our build. But of course, this one is an exception. Of course, you have to build this first before everything else. So basically, this is going to be our project for this episode, the main project. This is going to be a tall building, not only for this episode, maybe the next couple of episodes we are going to concentrate on this one. Of course, this is going to be a tall tower. That's why we have this water elevator markings right over here. Well, of course, you have to consider that, and we also going to have the entrances on this side right over here, and as well as on this side right over here. So basically, the ground floor is going to be like a lobby, and on the second floor we are going to have the stone factory, and as well as on the top of that stone factory we are going to have the creeper farm. That's where we are going to start building the farm for this episode. Well, like I said, we have to prioritize that in order for us to have some TNTs. But anyways, let's do it. So now we're doing the layout for this building, and as well as we have done this water elevator right over here, because we are going to go it up and down for this build. And of course, on the bottom part right over here, this is going to be the space for our stone factory, and on this level right over here is we are going to have our creeper farm. Of course, this is the start level of our creeper farm. Basically, we are going to have two levels. Basically, this is the sub level of our creeper farm, and on the top part of it is we are going to have the spawning area, which is pretty much, this is pretty high, right? But of course, you have to be a little exaggerated about our builds here in the Cyberperion city. So I'm not sure if we're still going to extend this building, but we are going to see that if we have finished this, farms here in the building. Well, this is not as tall as I expected though. Maybe it's because it's much wider, well, compared to our builds in the new Hyperion city. And of course, well, this is a futuristic cyberpunk build and not a modern or even classical builds, right? But I think the height is not enough, so we have to extend this tower maybe after we have built the farms. And of course, this will take a lot of resources to decorate and finish, and we are also running out of stones now. Well, I hope this would be enough, but I think we can also do some work around later on, right? I already have made the floors for this area, so at least we can easily work around here, right? And over here is where the creepers will fall from the spawning platforms to our killing chamber, and we are going to use again magma blocks to kill them, and we are also going to use minecart hoppers to collect. And on the center right over here is where we are going to have the access to the TNT dispenser for our stone factory, so at least we can easily refill and craft those TNTs, right? So on the top right over here where we are going to build the spawning platforms for our creepers, and of course we have certain mechanics for these spawning platforms which we already have done in the new Hyperion city. So basically we are going to have like 5 levels for this build, and yes, I guess this will produce more gunpowder, right? Basically, I'm using 2 of my most hated blocks here in Minecraft, which is this granite and as well as this prismarine. But of course, we are going to cover this entire place with some other blocks. Of course, this is not going to be visible outside, so I guess it's fine, right? Of course, you have to make this room dark in order for us to spawn the creepers inside here. Of course, this is so-called the spawning platform, right? The last few remaining blocks and we're done. Well, at least for the structural parts of this farm, well, we're halfway done, I guess. And on the bottom part right over there is where we are going to have the killing chamber, and I'm also currently breeding the cats that we are going to use to scare those creepers to their death. Well, other stuff that we are going to place for this farm are the trapdoors on the ceiling, and as well as the light thing in order for us to be able to turn on and turn off this farm. Of course, those are the remaining stuff that we need to do in order to complete this farm, and let's do it. So I already have set up the lighting system, so at least we can turn on and turn off this farm while doing some maintenance stuff for this farm. Well, because sometimes the cats were being pushed away from the right position, well, we have to put them back from time to time. Well, not always, but in rare occasions actually. So, well, we can tackle this through these switches right over here at the bottom, and as well as on the other side right over there, because I don't want to connect them with a long line of redstone. But anyway, so we got here the killing chamber. Of course, we are going to put some railings here in order to the minecart hopper will go around and collect the drops from our killing chamber. So that's how it works basically. So we already have done this in our previous series, I mean in the LP series, of course. And we also got some cats right over here. I think we still don't have enough cats, so well, basically for this farm we are going to need 20 of these cats, and of course we also need some spares, maybe at least 2 spare cats, so at least when something bad happens to our cats in the creeper farms, at least we can have some backup, right? And now we have enough number of cats in order to complete this farm. So basically, we already got 20 cats in the spawning platform, and as well as we got 3 cats in the backup. So basically, well, I guess that's enough, right? More than enough, I think. So, well, I also have started placing the trapdoors while waiting for these cats to grow. So, well, I still need to continue this, and later on, we also need to finish the spawning, or the cleaning chamber in the bottom part, and as well as we also need to cover this. Well, we're almost done, and let's finish this. And now we're done placing all of the trapdoors on all levels and gaps, so these will only allow creepers to spawn in this farm, and the trapdoors on the gap will deceive the creepers that they will thought it was like a full block, and they will eventually fall into our killing chamber. And of course, we are also going to use magma blocks to kill them, and we also need to contain this area with some glasses. Of course, we don't want them to go anywhere, right? And now we have placed the railing system for these minecarts to go around and collect all of the drops from the creepers, and also we have contained this area with these lime green glass blocks. Well, and of course, now we're placing these magma blocks that will kill the creepers that will fall in our killing chambers. So we're done here. We're almost done here. We'll just need to finish up these block placing of these magma blocks, and I'm trying to stay away from this minecart hopper actually. But anyway, so yes, and the last block, and let's close this up, and yes, we're pretty much done with this killing chamber. So now it's time to put up our storage system. Of course, this should produce a lot of gunpowder, therefore we are going to need a lot of spaces for it to store, right? So definitely that's the next thing that we have to put in this location right over here, and let's do it. So I guess these storage chests are more than enough for the need of this farm, I guess. Yes, so basically these will only have one item. Of course, those items are gonna be the gunpowder that will come from this farm, right? So basically we don't have to consider anything else. But well, I have forgot one thing about this farm though. Well, I actually forgot that we need to put some carpets on this spawning platform, because we want to prevent the spiders from spawning in these spawning platforms. Of course, we only want creepers to spawn in here, right? That's why this is called the creeper farm. So now I guess we have to go to the village to shear some ships. And now we're done placing these red carpets. So basically Pogs did dye all of the ships in our village with some red dyes, but anyways, it doesn't really matter, right? But of course, we just need to prevent the spiders from spawning in those spawning platform. Of course, well, this is how it looks like now. So basically, of course, we are also going to need to cover all of the spawning platforms to make it dark, and of course we have to have at least light level 7 in the spawning platforms. And I guess we only have prismarine blocks in order to do that last job though, but anyways, I guess it's fine, right? So now we're done covering all of the spawning platforms in our creeper farm. So basically, yes, so this is done. Well, I'm not really used on, you know, finishing a build without decorating it though, but anyways, maybe I'll get used for this series of SMP. As you can see, well, this farm is now already working. So we got a creeper just died in that killing chamber right over there. So basically, this is not yet totally efficient because we also need to clear out all of the caves in the bottom of the sea, and as well as you also got this guardian farm. Of course, you also need to isolate this place. So, well, so far, this is how much it produces. Well, of course, it's not yet much because we have just finished building this. Of course, soon enough, we need tons of gunpowder for our stone factory. Of course, we have to craft tons of TNTs in order to run it, right? So now, so far, this is how it looks like. So for the next episode, of course, we are going to start building our stone factory, and hopefully, well, I hope this will work, right? I mean, this is the first time that I'm going to build something on the top of the stone factory. Of course, stone factory is quite dangerous because there are some explosion happening in that farm, right? So basically, yeah, so maybe, well, we still need to check out on what we are going to do next, because basically we only have to do one farm. So, well, I think we can already start laying out this, you know, this city. Of course, you have to put some borders outside, so at least we can know what is what and where is where we are going to do our builds, right? So basically, this is partially done, not yet fully done. Of course, you have to finish this in the future episodes, but this is the only time that I get. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment, please leave a like, and make sure to subscribe. This has been mikeyperion, and I'll see you guys next time.